Should you pop your popcorn fully covered, partially covered, or not covered at all? We're going to test that and find out. It's time to settle the age-old debate. Will your popcorn be fluffier and crunchier if you release the steam while popping? This debate could very well go back 80,000 years to the time when prehistoric man first discovered popcorn. Did they release their steam? We may never know.
Don't let young handsome me stop you. That's interesting.
So what causes all the steam anyway? Well, popcorn is a specific type of corn with a high moisture content. When heated, it's the moisture inside the kernel that turns to steam and builds up enough pressure to explode, causing the soft starch inside the popcorn to become inflated, turning the kernel inside out.
We recently published a video testing different popcorn kernels.
Yes.
And in our test, we popped the popcorn with the lid on.
Yes.
In every case.
We got some comments.
We did.
And some of the comments suggested that we not leave the lid on or not leave the lid fully on.
Someone suggested if you use a grease strainer rather than a lid when popping popcorn, you come much closer to movie theater popcorn because you let the steam out as it cooks. The next says you're popping with the cover on and letting all those pop kernels hit the water-drenched lid. That's bad form. Use a lightweight metal lid and allow the steam to escape. Next says you must, capital M-U-S-T, let off the steam to properly cook.
Yeah.
That probably swayed some of the crunchiness and cooking judging.
Yeah.
And the last one, popping the kernels with the lid situated so that the steam is allowed to escape during the popping process produces a crispier popped kernel.
I don't like to put the lid on tight because it seems like the moisture makes popcorn tough.
Continue to cook with the lid slightly ajar.
Leave the lid ajar. Make your popcorn a little bit more crisp.
We're gonna put the lid slightly ajar, which will let you have perfectly crisp popcorn.
I can see the logic in releasing steam, but does it really make a difference?
Top of the lid and continuously and vigorously shake that pot, keeping the lid held down.
Even Orville Redenbacher, the popcorn king, didn't crack his lid. This comment suggests that perhaps there's no difference. Bob says, a tightly covered pot will heat up more quickly because it's retaining more heat, resulting in the kernels popping a little faster. From the time the popcorn starts popping until it's removed from the heat, it's only a very short time. The average popped kernel is probably in that environment for a minute or less. Whatever steam the popcorn absorbs in the covered pan, it quickly lets off when poured into the open bowl.
We've got to test it.
All right,
See if it makes a difference.
So we're going to test it. So how do we go about testing this?
Good question.
To test, we'll use Orville Redenbacher popcorn. To ensure a consistent and unbiased analysis, we'll make the popcorn exactly the same way for each test. We'll add 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil and exactly half a cup of kernels. While popping, we'll shake the pot every 30 seconds to prevent burning. When it seems like popping is just about finished, we'll ensure that 5 seconds has passed after the last pop, before turning off the heat. This will ensure a more consistent and unbiased result as we're not just going by feel. We measured the height of the popcorn as best we could. When popping with the lid on, the popcorn measured a height of 3 3/8 inches. Pretty much all of the kernels popped. Next, we'll make the popcorn with the lid slightly cracked open to allow most of the steam to be released. The height measured 3 3/8 inches, which is the same as the first test. Again, pretty much all of the kernels popped. And finally, we'll pop using a splatter guard instead of a lid, which essentially is leaving it uncovered. The height measured 3 inches, which is quite a bit lower than the first 2 tests. Again, essentially all of the kernels popped. To prevent bias, we'll do a blind taste test. We've labeled the bottom of the bowls and then mixed them up. So our popcorn is popped. We don't know which one is which, but what we've labeled is this one is A, this one is B, and this one is C. Let's start by talking about the fluffiness. So the way that we measured fluffiness is basically how high the popcorn was in the pot.
And one wasn't as fluffy as the others. So which was a very...
Yeah, it was the one with the splatter screen wasn't as high.
Right.
Which is interesting.
I thought for sure logically it would be fluffier. Less moisture being popped and circulated in the popcorn.
So what we'll do is rank what we think is the crunchiest to the least crunchiest.
Okay, start with crunchiest.
All right, so let's start with this.
Okay.
All right, so it's fairly crunchy.
And we made these one right after the other. None have sat for any real length of time.
They were pretty immediate. All right, so that one was crunchy. All right, let's try this one. Possibly not as crunchy. But I mean, it's comparable. It's hard to tell.
I think that is crunchier than this one.
I think this is crunchier so far. So let's try this one. That first one was very crunchy. So is that one. So this is the crunchiest.
C is the crunchiest, and then B, and then A.
Yeah. So I would say crunchiest.
Yeah, you can.
Next crunchiest. And then least crunchiest. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. C is the winner for crunchy. Alright, we'll start with the least crunchiest is lid cracked.
Lid cracked.
Lid cracked a bit is least crunchy.
All right, so then it's this one.
Is second least.
And it's lid on.
Oh, and the crunchiest is no lid with the splatter guard. So it is crunchier.
So I guess it's verified then.
It is verified. You can tell. So without the lid and with just the screen, letting the moisture escape, it does make it crunchier.
All right.
Okay, good result.
I was skeptical, but it seems to be confirmed.
It is confirmed.
All right.
All right, we have a winner.
In conclusion, it seems that letting off steam does result in crunchier popcorn, although apparently not fluffier popcorn. The volume of the popcorn popped with the splatter guard was quite a bit less than popping with a lid, even though almost all kernels popped. My assumption is that this happened because the top of the pot was exposed to cooler air, causing some of the kernels to pop with less force. Perhaps the best method would be to start popping with the lid on, and then when popping starts, switch to the splatter guard. I hope you enjoyed our video. To see more videos like this, please like and subscribe.